Hey everybody, this is the Esoteric Cross. I'm coming to you today with a tarot reading, and this is what you need to hear at this moment. So I have three piles in front of me, and to pick your pile, I want you to go ahead and imagine that there's this bright white light at the top of the universe. Breathe in, and as you inhale, imagine this light is descending and filling up your body and your aura. Breathe in, and this light moves through you and charges the ground beneath you. Then, as you exhale, I want you to imagine that you are pulling that energy back up through your body and filling your heart center with this golden sphere of energy. Sit with this energy for a moment, and when you open your eyes, let it guide you towards the right pile that's for you. When you're ready, the timestamps are in the description below that will take you to your reading. Hey everybody that chose pile number 1, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear at this moment. You have picked the archangel that corresponds to the Page of Cups, and this is all about divine protection. If we take a look at this card, it says divine comfort gives consolation and protection from one's enemies. All right, so we're going to go ahead and pull the tarot cards and see what kind of messages that we have for you, pile number 1. Okay, so for the very first card, we have the High Priestess. And this is generally seen as the card of passivity. This is about going inwards, looking within the subconscious, and bringing things up to the surface. I think that you have a lot of divine wisdom that is right there within you, that is being ready. It's ready to be tapped into. It's waiting for you to tap into it. And I think that in the past, there have been a lot of secrets. There have been a lot of things that are coming to light that you might have not known about beforehand. Oh, we have another major arcana card. We have the 10, the Wheel of Fortune. And this is kind of showing us not following the same cycle anymore. We are breaking out of a cycle. You are coming into some sort of higher state of consciousness or coming into some sort of awareness. And this could definitely have to do with physical awareness. So being more aware of the body and the way that you react to things. This can be being more aware of how your internal world looks as it is approaching the external world. All right, guys. We have the 3 of Swords for what is kind of coming up for you. And sometimes people look at this like it's one of the darker cards. I mean, of course, we have this rainy day and we have the swords piercing the heart, but this doesn't necessarily mean that this is a bad thing. I actually have a really nice interpretation for this card. I think that this is the ego being dissolved, and I kind of see this as a theme, especially when it comes to this, what does it say, consolation? Let me see. Yes, gives consolation and protection from one's enemies. It's divine comfort. So I think that there's this huge awareness that's like stepping in for you, which is changing the way that you perceive how people approach you. It's changing the way that you perceive reality, really. And this is going to work in your benefit. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to approach situations, to approach your challenges, that your challenges will not seem like challenges anymore. Your setbacks will be set-ups. So, with this 3 of Swords, I think that this is the dissolution of the ego in some sense, that you are shattering the things that you thought that you wanted. And this is not necessarily a sad thing. This might be it might be sad to some degree because the 3 of Swords does highlight grief. So you might be grieving what you thought could have been, and this doesn't necessarily mean a relationship. I know when we see this heart symbol, a lot of people think that this is the ending of some relationship or a betrayal, but that's not necessarily the case. This is the ending of what we thought was going to be. And how do we destroy what we thought was going to be? We stop placing expectations on things. So you're not going to be placing these very large expectations on situations in your life. I think coming up for you You're going to be living much more in the moment and accepting reality for what it is. And when you accept reality for what it is, you're able to make effective change a lot easier from a much more clear-headed place. It's a place of clarity. I think that that's what you are moving towards, is this wonderful place of clarity. And with these swords piercing this heart, this can also represent logic overruling emotion. So, this can represent you making decisions out of your best interest of what you know you want for the future, or what you know that you want for yourself right now. You are looking after you out of this love that you have for yourself, I think. And it's apparent that the logic is going to overrule the emotions in this case, and that's going to be a good thing. What is behind these clouds is the sun. So, if any of you guys know tarot, you know that the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords are much more dark cards. And some people will say that the Three of Swords is dark, but it's actually really not. The Three of Swords is much more positive, and it's much more light. It's not heavy. It's not as heavy as the Nine of Swords. So we're not at the height of despair, the height of anxiety, or anything like that. We're actually getting very, very close to a sense of clarity. All right, so let's pull some of these oracle cards and see what else we've got for you, pile number one. Ooh, we have Felix Felicius. Gosh, I can't hardly say that, but here's the card. It says, a power symbol to create lucky serendipitous events. So these are cards that you can work with. You can draw them, put energy into them, do ritual work with them. They're kind of like talismans, but these are magic symbols. And you can put this in places where you'll see it very often to help program the subconscious mind. One thing that I really like to do with these is perform rituals with them, and maybe light a candle in front of them, and put my intention into the symbol. So this is going to be something for you to work with to create a lucky serendipitous event. And I think that coming into this next phase of life, or this next era for you, you're going to be very lucky. You're going to be getting very close to the things that you really want, and actually getting what it is that you want. But I think as you start approaching the future, or the vitality of this future, you're going to see, it's going to be very evident to you that you are moving in this right direction. Okay, so I have these Moonology cards, and I want to see what we've got for you, pile number one. Prosperity lies ahead. We have New Moon and Taurus. Anytime I see one of these New Moon cards, I always look at them like a blank slate. The New Moon is kind of like a blank slate. It's this canvas for us to program the subconscious mind. I always look at the moon as if it is the subconscious, the emotions, the intuition. But I think there's this emphasis on the subconscious. And when we have a new moon, this is like this blank slate for us to program what we want, what are our intentions. So you can kind of use this as a moment to move forward, to really think about your prosperity, and how is it that you want to be living 3 months from now, a year from now, 6 years from now. What is it that you can see for yourself? And you can even reverse engineer to see how it is that you get to this place that you want to be, specifically financially. All right, so let's see what we've got for your Tree of Life Oracle cards. All right, what do we have for this Kabbalah Tree of Life cards? We have Da'ath, knowledge, the abyss, secrets, and lessons yet to be realized. Very funny how we have that with the High Priestess, which is also kind of representing, in some degree, the Da'ath energy. In some degree. Da'ath means knowledge, and it represents the abyss on the Tree of Life. What happens when you cross Da'ath on the Tree of Life is this dissolution of self, which is kind of like what we were talking about with the Wheel of Fortune and the Three of Swords. It's a dissolution of ego. It's letting go of our expectations, letting go of the mind and what the mind attaches to, what the emotions attach to, and letting go of other people's expectations that they place on us. And really, reality, it's kind of like everything dissolves for a little bit as we have that blank slate and something new can come from that dissolution. So, Da'ath, I think that coming up for you is going to be discovering these secrets, these occult secrets, this occult knowledge, self knowledge, gnosis. I think that that's something that you're going to be getting into a lot very soon. I mean, it's probably something that you've been interested in anyway. But coming up for you is going to be a lot of new revelations. And I think that a lot of these revelations are going to come about through silence and observation of the world around you. So that's actually really exciting for you, being able to step into this Da'ath energy, which is also that observer aspect, the observer archetype. Okay, so we have set boundaries. Claim your power and know your value today. This is the Inner Child Oracle deck. I really like these cards. And what you're being called to do is to set boundaries in some form. And I don't know exactly what that will look like for you. It's very funny how we have kind of this new moon looking figure in the background. Da'ath, knowledge, is the abyss. So we can think of this as this. How do I even describe it? You could even think of like the black sun or a new moon. We have the high priestess, which is this lunar energy. And then, of course, we have that new moon in Taurus. It's very interesting. We have a lot of synchronicities here pertaining to this new moon or this blank slate that's coming. And I think that this is a blank slate. Of course, the subconscious mind we've talked about, but this can also be a blank slate when it has to do with your emotions. It's almost like you are learning how to disidentify with something that has really triggered you for a very long time, something that's been very difficult for you along your journey. You're learning how to let go of something. You still set your boundaries, though. When we let go and we forgive and we do all of that stuff, a lot of people leave out the boundaries aspect, or sometimes we get the idea of like people who get into spirituality might get into that idea of disidentifying with everything and just letting things be what they are, which is what we should do. But sometimes we leave out the boundaries aspect. We still need to have boundaries. There's a reason that we have anger. There's a reason that we have these strong emotions, and it's to be able to put boundaries in place. So again, this is going to have to, you're going to have to employ discernment. And that might be a big lesson for you at this time, is to figure out that discernment. And it's funny because that goes hand in hand with that first card, which is that protection from your enemies. So I just bought this deck. These are soul cards. And they do not have descriptions. There's not a guidebook with this that goes into the details of these cards. The whole purpose is for you to see what you see in the card. So if you're watching this video, definitely leave a comment about specifically what you see. You don't even have to go into detail and try to find meanings of what exactly this means for you. You don't have to do all of that. It can be as simple as, what do you see first in the card? What is the first thing that you notice? And eventually, over time, that might lead you into what this means for you. Obviously, when I pulled this card, I think it's obvious to everyone, but of course, everybody might see something slightly different first. But I saw the red, and to me, that there's this anger, and there's this border. I can even see it as a border that is protecting you. The anger has been serving as some sort of protection, but it also seems to be this self-loathing in a way too. That there's this pity, maybe self-deprecation that's happening here. But those are just the first things that I notice. And if I'm going to go off of that for a minute, with this border, that I'm seeing, we can also kind of look at this as the aura or the energy body. So, in one sense, this anger, like I was saying, is can be very precious and it's protective and all of those things. But over time, if we're not able to purify that, if we're not able to alchemize that and change that, that energy becomes stagnant. And when it does that, this energy is just constantly circulating within the aura, within the energy body, the field, the energy field. We approach life with this baggage or this glooming hanging over us and surrounding us, and that definitely affects the relationships that we have, the way we approach work, the way we approach um, anything, people on the street. It's something that people can sense about us. So you do with that information what you will, and maybe you see something slightly different here too. All right, so I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation. So we want to see what kind of guidance do we have going forward for you, pile number one. We have it's time. All right, so it says you're being asked to move forward toward the dream that you've been carrying in your heart. It's time to bring it out into the world. You're ready. It's time. So I think moving forward with your dreams, with your ambitions, and the things that you get excited about, that's going to be really healing for you. It's going to change your energy and help alchemize whatever pain it is that you've been experiencing. And then I have one last affirmation card for you, pile number one. Let's see what we've got. Awesome. This is about shadows. It says, I embrace my shadows and understand they help me become stronger. May I continue to learn and grow from them. Uh, that's a callback to that high priestess and this card if we're talking about this pain that we've been holding on to. Um, it's not about just getting rid of the pain or ignoring the pain. And alchemy doesn't necessarily mean we're getting rid of anything. We are just changing it. We are alchemizing it. The energy is just transformed. But we don't get rid of it exactly. So embrace this. Embrace the pain. Embrace the shadows. Embrace that past that you have that you've been carrying with you. You can change it. You can alchemize it going forward. But let it be the fuel that lights you up. Let it be the fuel that changes your life. So I hope that this reading was helpful and it resonated with you. If so, please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe for more content. I do have a course that studies Kabbalah with tarot, so if you're interested in that, check out the link in the description below. And also, if you want a reading done by me, check out the link in the description below. And thank you all so much for watching. Until next time. Hey everybody that chose pawn number 2, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear at this moment. So for your archangel, we have Gabriel, and this is associated with the moon within tarot. It says God is my strength, so this is about the strength of God. And of course, God is this loose term that I am using to describe the universe, the source of creation, consciousness, all of those things. But this is divine revelation, reveals messages, and has the power to destroy. Gabriel is also the archangel that is associated to the element of water and also Yasad on the Kabbalistic tree of life. So we're talking about emotions. We're talking about of course, the element of water, the subconscious. But let's get a little bit more information about the big messages that we have for you, pile number 2, starting off with the tarot cards. So let's see what we've got. All right, so we have the Four of Swords. And this is kind of showing that what you've been doing lately, I think, is kind of resting, and whether that is active or not. You could have been really busy, but there's this underlying message of rest that, the Four of Swords has a lot to do with rest, but there can also be this disidentification with thoughts. So that might be something that you have been experimenting with or trying. But let's also see what else we've got for you. What is going on with you guys in the present? We have the King of Swords. So again, a little bit more into the mind. The King of Swords means what they say and says what they mean. There is not a lot of emotions actually happening with the King of Swords. It is being very logical with your decisions. Of course, the sword can represent the cutting away of things, cutting cords, cutting old attachments. Um, Getting to the bottom of something, getting to the truth, and getting to that clarity. So that is something that you are currently working on. And I think in the past you've been working on it too. But the way that you've been working on it is by being very silent, taking that rest, not attaching to every single thing that comes into your mind or comes into your life, which is actually really good. So let's see where we are heading with this energy. Where is pile number 2 heading? We have the King of Cups. Okay, so this is very opposite. Well, maybe not exactly opposite. Maybe that's not the best way to put it. But the King of Cups is this emotional energy, whereas the King of Swords is very logical. But with the emotional energy, this is very balanced. It's very active, so it's actually putting this into practice. But the King of Cups also kind of allows. It's adaptable. It's flexible with it having to do with the element of water. Um, this is also about having a vision for something and to be able to execute and to have that emotional creative power to bring this vision into existence. So, what we're doing between now and what's coming up in the future is we are balancing the logic with the emotions and balancing what's practical with our creativity. And if you hear something in the background, it is this hamster that we just got a hamster. So, I'm so sorry he is running on his wheel. So I really apologize if that is distracting. But I can't put him in the other room with the cats because I don't want a dead hamster. All right, so let's see what we've got for your Moonology cards, pile number 2. We have Meditate and Contemplate with New Moon in Pisces. Meditate and Contemplate. I was saying this in pile number 1's reading. Whenever we have this new moon, this is kind of like a blank slate, or it's like the subconscious being cleared and we can reprogram. This can also be disidentifying with emotions, and I definitely think that's been kind of a theme going through not just your pile, but also pile number 1. Is the disidentification really with emotions or changing the way our emotions serve us? So there's going to be something for you to really think about coming up, and probably something for you to think about right now in this moment. Okay, we have Labyrinth. So these cards are something. These are cards that you can look into, meditate on them. You can put energy into them, project your consciousness into them. With the Labyrinth, it's a really good idea to start at the beginning and let your eyes follow the path all the way through to the end of this labyrinth. But this card says raising your energetic vibration and enlightenment. And I think that there is this message of focus. The swords have a lot to do with our awareness and our focus. With the labyrinth, what we're doing when we do meditate on the labyrinth and we are following that path from beginning to end is we are taking our mind and we are focusing on that path, kind of like getting that tunnel vision, and that is strengthening our awareness and our focus. All right, so let's see what we've got for you for your Tree of Life Oracle cards. This card just jumped out, and we have the 30th path, the sun. It says purpose, vision, and self mastery. Now, the sun in tarot, well, we have, of course, the sun card, which represents this vitality, the positivity, and joy, the source of the truth or the source of energy within the body. It's about consciousness, this awakening, this enlightenment, which has kind of been a little theme here too, is this enlightenment or awakening. And the sun is also associated with the magician. Even in tarot, if you take the card, the sun, which is card number 19, and you add that together, you end up with the number 10, which reduces back down to 1. So the sun and the magician are very closely linked together. The magician representing this mastery. And also, it says here self mastery. So there is something that you are learning about yourself and refining and really, really getting down to the distillation or the pure essence of who you are. Um, and I don't think that this is your first rodeo. I think that you've been working on this for quite some time. And this really shows a big step within your evolution. All right, so let's see what we've got for you for your inner child oracle cards. If there's any specific messages coming through for you, pile number 2. Um, Interesting. It says say yes. This is card number 30. And it says, now is the time to be open and receive. So if there are opportunities coming up for you here in the future, or there's opportunities presented to you right now at this moment, like as you're watching this, I think you're being called to move in that direction. And I don't ever want to tell you to say yes to something that is going to harm you or um, to something that's not in your highest good. So, of course, be discerning about what you say yes to. But if there is something that your heart has just been calling on, it's time to say yes to it. Stop dimming your own light, which I don't think that's something that you're doing. But this is say yes to things that fill you with that vitality and that joy. The grass is green where you water it. So if and that's a specific message that's going hand in hand with the sun, is because you are the light of your life. And if you shine that light as bright as possible, you're going to change the energy of everything in that space. And you're going to change the opportunities that present themselves to you. So if you take an opportunity that is in alignment with what you want, you move in that direction, you're going to accelerate your progress. You're going to accelerate your path by a whole lot. All right, so let's see what we've got for your soul cards. I love these cards. This is a new deck that I actually just got. Uh, Now it doesn't have a guidebook. It doesn't have definitions to these cards or names. So this is really purely up to your interpretation as you take a look at this. Now, try to avoid coming up with a meaning for this card right off. What I want you to do is to just note the first thing that you see. What was the first thing that you saw when I pulled this card out? And you don't have to attach a meaning, and the first thing that you see could be very obvious. Like, for example, the first thing that I saw wasn't exactly the breath. The very first thing that I saw was the person looking up in this kind of state of, it's almost as if it's a relaxation, and it's, to me, I feel like there's this half relaxation and half shock, like this wow moment. And then I saw the breath leaving the person. And as I see the breath leaving the person, I see this other being looking back at them. Now, if we can move a little bit further into any interpretations, I think that this breath is something that's really powerful, and this could be something for you to meditate on going forward. First of all, this can be a call to do breath work or breath meditations and observing the breath as you are meditating. Another thing is at the beginning of this video, to pick your pile, we imagined bright white light at the top of the universe, and we breathed in. And as we breathed in, we pulled this light down. And this is an example of breath being this chi energy. If we stopped breathing, we would not be alive. For very long. That breath is the source of life and the source of energy for the body. There's something powerful in the breath. There's this living being, if you even want to go that far. But I would go even farther to say that breath is this life force. It is consciousness. It is energy. It is something very real, and we are breathing within this giant organism that we are a part of. And there is this power within the breath, and it's almost almost as if there's this consciousness, this being within the breath that we are existing within, that we are interacting with, and that we are being. Um, Now, there's something else that's coming up for me as I meditate on this card. It is projection. So, this could be the things that we say. So, taking the breath back for a minute, and we're going to talk about what leaves our mouth, which is our voice. Our voice, what we're doing, what we're saying, is we are creating characters of people. The people that we talk about, the people that we talk to, we are constantly creating their characters. We don't really know them. We don't really know what is going on in their lives, or maybe we do to some degree, but we don't know everything about them and what is going on through their mind. All we're doing is creating them within our mind. In a sense, everybody that you meet and you talk to and you interact with or you imagine is all a part of you in your imagination and what you create for them. So that might be something for you to think about going forward too, especially if any of us deal with worrying about what people think about us too. What other people think about us are their own projections and this imaginatory thing that they create within their mind. So this might be something that has stopped you in the past from pursuing your dreams and pursuing your truth. But this might be something that can help alleviate that as you move forward. All right, and I end every reading out with some affirmations, and hopefully there's some specific message for you going forward. Pile number 2, it says, keep going. I really like this card. I had this card one time when I was thinking about giving up on something, and I really took this message to heart and kept going, and I found what it was that I was looking for. So it says, it may feel as though you've been on this path or journey for so long, and you may even wonder if you're making any progress towards your dreams. This message is a loving reminder for you to keep going. You're almost there. And I have one last affirmation for you, pile number 2. Okay. It says, I am mindful of my growth. May I continue to evolve and feel the nurturing energy of the earth. So, this might be your call to work with the element of earth. And it also might be your call to make a list of some things that you have succeeded at, maybe this past year or recently within the last few months. But make a list of everything that is going right in your life and the accomplishments that you've made. And I hope this reading has resonated with you. If so, please leave a like and a comment. Subscribe for more content. Also, if you want a reading done by me, you can check out the link in the description below. And also, I do have a course on studying tarot with Kabbalah. So if that is something that's interesting to you, definitely check out the link in the description below. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time. Hey everybody that chose pile number 3, welcome to your reading. This is what you need to hear at this moment, and we have picked Irithel for your Archangel. And this is associated with the Page of Wands. So let's take a look at this. And this is also called the Preventing God. Propagation of light confounds the wicked and slanders, saves from enemies. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into your tarot cards to see what we've got for you, pile number 3. Okay, the very first thing that we have here is the 3 of Pentacles. Now, the 3 of Pentacles is focused on a couple things. So communication, collaboration. There is a sense of hard work. And the reason here is when we think about 3, we're talking about the 3 modalities of creation, or the 3 parts of the cycle of creation, which is generation, order, and destruction. And I think that there's a little bit of an emphasis on the destruction. So what we actually mean by that is, if you think about when you are building muscle, you go to the gym and you're lifting weights. And first of all, it requires discipline. It requires doing this on a regular basis, and doing this when you don't feel like doing it. And then also it's painful. It is destructive. In the sense that it's destroying the muscle. How do you gain muscle? It's by creating tears within the muscle. So it's striving through pain is what builds this thing that you want to build. It's what gives you results and it makes you stronger. So, those are a few things that we can see here. This Three of Pentacles is highlighting the regeneration that happens through this destruction, aka hard work. That's really what this represents. So this is kind of what you've been going through, I think, lately, is putting in a lot of hard work. And you may even wonder if you are producing results. I think you have been seeing some results, but I don't think it's really hit you how much progress you've actually really made. So I think it might be a good time to start reflecting on that. All right, so let's see what else we've got for you. We have the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups kind of represents some sort of offer when it comes to your emotions. Sometimes the Knight of Cups can represent a new relationship or somebody who is presenting a relationship, somebody who's approaching you. It doesn't necessarily have to mean that, because especially here on this channel, we talk a little bit more about the esoteric meanings of these cards. So, if we're kind of taking a look at this Knight of Cups, we're talking about searching for balance and putting in a lot of action when it comes to creativity and bringing a vision to life. And then also, of course, with the emotion. So, acting through your emotions, acting through your passion and what you truly care about. Where is it in the heart? What are the matters of the heart? And I think this is your message for this time being. As this card is representing the present moment. I think that the big message for you, pile number 3, is to move forward when it comes to your heart and your vision. All right, so what do we have coming up for you, pile number 3? Oh, we have the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is representing our, how do I say it, magic, manifestations, positivity. She's holding the sunflower, which is the sign of positivity. And what do you know about sunflowers is that they face the sun. And in this card, it's quite literally facing you. So you have to think about how you are this fire. You are this source of energy for your body, your creations, what you're manifesting in life, and for your environment and what you find yourself in, the situations that you find yourself in. So really think about that going forward. What is your state of consciousness as you are creating whatever this life is that you truly want? How can you manifest things more clearly? How can you change the energy of things? All right, so let's get into your oracle. I'm going to pull these Moonology cards, or a Moonology card for you, pile number 3. Let's see what we've got. We have Step Out of Your Comfort Zone with North Node, and the Queen of Wands can also represent us kind of as the result after stepping out of our comfort zone. So with the Knight of Wands, we are moving forward with this strength and velocity and out of the excitement and passion, and we're just moving forward. We're taking action. All of the knights have to do with taking action. And the reason I said the Knight of Wands is because that's, of course, what comes before the Queen of Wands. When we come to the Queen of Wands, what we're doing is internalizing, and we are reaching a maturity that has to do with that element of fire. So how do we get to that maturity? We have to step out of our comfort zone. So I really like that with this North Node. With what we are moving towards, you have to have this North Star too. That's a big message, is having a North Star, a goal, a direction to move towards. And it's going to require you stepping out of your comfort zone. I think for a lot of you guys who chose pile number 3, I think a lot of you are very ambitious. You have these big goals and you are really working towards them. You've been working towards them. And I think that you're going to experience a lot of success very soon. So let's pull a magical symbol card. We have One Enchanted Evening, the Perfect Night, card number 29. So this is a symbol that you can work with if you have this event or something in particular that you have coming up for you, something that you're looking forward to. You can draw this symbol, put a lot of energy into it. You can use it within ritual work, put the symbol in places where you see it very often. What I like to do with these symbols is use it within ritual work. I'll light a candle in front of it and do a meditation with it. There's all kinds of things that you can do with these, but this is going to be focused on having one enchanted evening. So I really like that for you. Palm number 3. I'm going to pull a card out of this deck, which is focused on the Tree of Life and Tarot and how they are connected with each other. So let's see. We pulled Hakma, Wisdom, number 2. It says inspiration, spark, and the divine masculine. Very interesting thing with Hakma is it does correspond with the High Priestess in Tarot. And yes, this is the divine masculine. It corresponds with the High Priestess in Tarot, which is feminine. And a lot of people can get a little confused about that. But the High Priestess, even though it is feminine, the High Priestess is representing this divine wisdom, which is Hakma. What Hakma means is wisdom. And it is the wisdom that we have internally within us that's rising to the surface. And it's also about how we apply it. So when we're talking about divine masculine, we're going outwards. We are projecting. We are putting in action to some degree. And we are expanding. When we're talking about divine feminine, we are going internal. We might be creating structure, creating boundaries, and we are growing something internally. And there might be an emphasis on birthing something, so the creation of something. So the divine feminine is generally about what's hidden, and the divine masculine is generally about what is out there in the open. Which kind of sounds counterintuitive when we talk about the High Priestess, and I know we're gonna talk a little bit more about this. Hakma, wisdom. I think that it might be good to meditate on that High Priestess card, and it might be a good idea to dive a little bit deeper into the occult mysteries, occult knowledge, occult work, because what Hakma is the revealer of occult knowledge. You work with this sphere on the Tree of Life to gain more knowledge of the occult, or more knowledge of the self, to see more of this vision of the machinery of the universe and the processes of life, to get more information on it. And that's also what the High Priestess represents too. It represents the hiding or the concealment of that occult knowledge, and you approach the High Priestess to enter into this realm. So this can also represent the subconscious, so you contain this within. So there's a lot of wisdom, I think, that's already within you that you need to apply, and you need to use it going forward. And you're not going to know what works and what doesn't, and you're not going to be revealed the truth of everything. You're not going to be revealed the truth of everything, but you're not going to be revealed the truth of something important until you put in action. Once you put in action and you see the results of that action, that is going to internalize within you and create knowledge. All right. So, pile number 3, we're going to go ahead and pull one of these inner child oracle cards. So what do we got going on for you? Pile number 3. Be still. This is card number 4. It says, cultivate a space of stillness and silence to just be. When this comes out, this can mean that obviously you need to take time to be still. This can also represent life being really overwhelming, especially if you guys have been really hard workers, really ambitious. Life might be a little overwhelming at the moment, or it might have been overwhelming or just recently. This is your call to be still, to find time within the day to meditate. If you cannot slow down, or if you cannot cultivate a little bit of time within your day to meditate, to just observe the self, then you can still go out go throughout your daily routine, go throughout the things that you normally go through within your day, but just observe the self, kind of detach a little bit, and don't identify with all of the things that are happening as you are going through your day. Try to observe yourself and your thoughts within certain situations. Again, if that's a little difficult, it might be a good idea to slow down in certain aspects. Like, for example, if you're washing your dishes, try not to just rush through washing the dishes. Try to slow down to the point where it's ridiculous. You're slowing down to a ridiculous point. This can be really soothing and really calming for the nervous system, which is something that I think that you're going to really need at this time. All right, so this is a new deck that I just got. These are the soul cards. They do not have a book definition, even a name for the cards. So I want you to take a moment and take a look at the card. And if you want, you can leave it in the comments of the video. What is the first thing that you see when the card comes out? And this doesn't mean that you have to create a meaning or anything like that for the card, just exactly what you see, what is the first thing that you notice. And then we can start to put together a meaning from that. So, one thing that I saw was the head. I saw the head and the hand. I saw this look of stillness. I feel like I see this look of relaxation. And even the hand doing this gesture that is not closing something off, but it's also not gripping anything either. It's not saying stop, and it's not holding on to anything either. It's this very subtle movement of the hand. Then I noticed, which I didn't notice right off, was this being that is very dark, that is moving downwards in the card. And you can almost even picture this as some sort of little creature that is seemingly like a monster. And I feel like for you guys, and you might have your own interpretation after meditating on this for a moment, but I feel like this can represent the overwhelm, that this is something that is creating destruction within our lives. So as we are going back to that beginning of the reading, where we've talked about destruction as this beautiful part of creation, it is a part of creation. We wouldn't be able to get that regeneration if it wasn't for the destruction. So this might represent this destructive aspect of us, which may present itself as overwhelm. It may be something else in your life. You can be the judge of that. But this creature, it seems like you are able to observe the creature or disidentify with this creature. You let the creature be what it is, and in that sense, it seems to fall. It seems to release itself in some way, or it creates this transformation. There might be plenty more to say about this, and I'd love to hear what your interpretation is, or how you feel about this card when you look into it. But we're going to go ahead and move on. I end every reading out with some sort of affirmation, and I have a couple for you. So let's see if we have another specific message for you, pile number 3. We have step back, which is kind of in alignment with everything else that we have here. It says you're being asked to take a step back from your life in order to gain perspective. When you're too close to a situation, it can be hard to make a decision. Span out and view your life from a distance so you can get the perspective needed. So it might be even helpful to observe your life or observe a specific situation from the outside, in the sense of, imagine if it was somebody else. Imagine if this was a situation or a life that somebody else had. What would you say about it? What kind of advice would you give? Especially if it's a decision that you're trying to make. What would you tell your friend? What would you tell your mom? What would you tell your kid? What would you tell somebody that you care about if they were going through this? All right, so the very last thing I have for you is I am protected. May I continue to trust the protective energy of the universe. So you might be called to even do protective magic too at this time. I hope that this reading resonated with you. If so, please leave a like, leave a comment, Subscribe for more content. If you want a personal reading done by me, check out the link in the description below. I do offer private readings, and also I do have a course on studying tarot with Kabbalah, so if that's something that you're interested in, please make sure to check out the link in the description below. And thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.